Welcome back to the competition studio of the International Paderewski Piano Competition. It's November the 18th, and that means my guest today is Maestro Jakub Chrenowicz. Welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for being here. Maestro Chrenowicz is the principal conductor of the Koszalin Philharmonic, or Maniuszko Philharmonic here in Poland, and a professor of conducting at the Academy of Music in Poznan. So I'd love to ask you, as the first question, when you watch this video of yourself conducting Beethoven 8th, how do you feel watching your own conducting?
It's always disturbing a little bit, but I like this recording.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think about this particular moment. I remember when we were working on this wonderful piece with this orchestra in this concert hall.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly, I feel happy to think about good time with
Mm-hmm.
beautiful music with this great orchestra.
And that was, of course, Pomeranian Philharmonic here in this hall, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's where the competition's taking place. One of the benefits of the competition for these young pianists, they get to work with very experienced conductor in the finals. How is it for you when you have to work with a totally new soloist who's in a competition situation?
The competition situation is special, very special for the orchestra and for the conductor, but not because we don't know each other with the soloist, because usually you don't know the soloist. We meet each other on Thursday, we are working a little bit privately without the orchestra, then we go to the concert hall, we are rehearsing with the orchestra, then we play the dress rehearsal, then the concert, and that's it. So the time we are working together is never very long. But this time, the orchestra and myself, we have 5 new people who are in a very specific situation because they are competitors, people who are in the finals of great international piano competition,
Right.
who already played 3 stages. Yeah,
That's right.
Final is the 4th stage, so they already played Mozart with the chamber orchestra. They already played 2 huge recitals of piano music, and now they have to go to the orchestra they don't know. They have to meet conductor they don't know, and I'm not sure, but it can happen that some of them play this absolutely difficult and wonderful and huge piano concertos for the first time with the orchestra. So I think that their situation is more specific than orchestras and conductor situation.
You've definitely described it in better terms than even I could have as a pianist, because it's true. When you're in the finals, the pressure is huge.
I believe so.
Yeah. And I was talking the other day with Paweł Kapua about conducting competitions. Are conducting competitions something you have done?
As a student, I attended 2 or 3 competitions. I never won any big competition, but I won the quite important Polish, we can say competition for assistant conductor for National Philharmonic, because
in Warsaw.
Yes, it was. In fact, it was competition, but competitions are always connected with pressure,
Right.
I think.
Do you feel pressure that the competitors rely on you and it's such a huge concerto?
I'm trying to be supportive and very calm, because
Calm.
Yeah, calm, because I think that they can be nervous. They don't show it.
They don't show it?
No, they are extremely professional. They are great. They are well prepared. They know what to do. That's why I can't say if any of them is playing for the first time with the orchestra, because they behave very professional. I mean that they know where to wait, where to look on my hand, and where they can play what they want to play.
Right.
They are aware where conductor and the orchestra can support them, and when we need their attention to make things together. So they are really great professional.
Yeah.
And I like all the 5 competitors as musicians.
So far you've had rehearsals with him and you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was wondering now, we could listen. You didn't hear the semifinals, I'm assuming, the Mozart?
No, unfortunately not.
So maybe we can listen to one of the competitors playing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we have a
great.
first fragment of the Mozart C major concerto. Can we have that fragment now? So we were just hearing Shio Okyu from Japan playing the C major Mozart concerto, and you were making some interesting comments about Mozart and opera.
Yeah, I think that Mozart, of course, is probably most famous from his operas. I think everyone knows Mozart operas.
Yes.
And then his symphonic music. But the concerti is for me personally, I think that this is the operatic music put into the orchestra and the piano. You don't need, as we are talking, you don't need singers, you don't need even the plot. You just have the opera, which is made from music. Yeah,
Right.
This is wonderful. Piano concerti of Mozart are very special in his catalogue.
And this competitor will also play Chopin in the finals. And Chopin is very closely linked with Mozart in the sense that Chopin adored Mozart.
Of course, but I think in the world of classical music, everything is connected. There is no music which came from nowhere. Every composer has had his or her lectures. Everybody played some music, listened to some music. In literature, the scholars are looking for connections.
Yeah.
In the music, we don't even need to look for connections because everything is connected.
Yeah.
Brahms with Mozart, even like you look back, you can even say that something in Bach is similar to Mozart, but of course Mozart studied
right, exactly,
Bach.
not
So
the other.
it's absolutely. I had the situation. I was studying motet of Bach, and I was thinking to myself, Mozart could have written this music, and then I realized that Mozart was traveling. He came to Dresden, and he was studying the manuscript of this particular piece of music. So he liked it, and this is how the music is created through ages.
You make a really important point. I'd like to ask you, what's different about conducting Bach and conducting Beethoven, Brahms, bigger compositions. What makes Bach special?
Nowadays we have the situation that Bach's music is for the orchestras, for the ensembles that are playing on the old instruments, and this is like different area. The ordinary symphony orchestras or even chamber orchestras don't play Bach very often because we have specialists who studied the music.
The historical performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have the historical performance or historically informed performance, and you have also the original instruments or the copies of these instruments. It's Bach is not with the orchestras like we have here, even with chamber orchestras. But still, I think that every musician on this world should study Bach because
Absolutely.
he was everything is from Bach and everything goes to Bach.
Right, exactly. Now, when you're working with a new soloist, like these 5 pianists you mentioned, you have actually a lot of rehearsal time here. Yeah?
We have a very comfortable situation. It doesn't happen, as I know, it doesn't happen very often that we have 2 full rehearsals with every of them. So that's great because
that's comfortable
for them and of course for us. During the first rehearsal, we get to know each other. They know how they should listen, how the whole reacts. I mean acoustics, and they get to know me, my moves, and then we have the second, let's say, dress rehearsal when we know each other more and we can do more music. It's exactly like in the real life. When the soloist comes to the orchestra, let's say on Thursday, we are rehearsing, and then we have the dress rehearsal in the concert day. So this is the typical professional situation.
And do you enjoy conducting piano concertos?
I love conducting piano concertos.
Why is that? What do you love about it?
It's hard to say. One thing is the piano. The instrument. You don't have, I think, any instrument that changed so much in the history. And actually the violin, which is king of the instruments, of course, it changed a little bit, but it's still the same violin as many, many years ago. The modern grand piano is like, it's like the new car. you had cars in the past,
right?
but it's developing, and you have this repertoire which was composed just for the grand piano we know today.
Right.
Yeah. Because if we are playing Beethoven, Mozart, even Brahms, we can think, or Chopin, of course. We can discuss, is it proper instrument? How we should play this old music on this new, modern, very strong instrument.
Because Chopin concerto on a huge Steinway, it's totally, he had no idea this could exist, this type of texture, this amount of sound.
Mozart concerti on Steinway. It can be... If you think about it, it can be ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's something very, very special that we have this grand piano and we play the old music on it.
Yeah.
But you, the pianist, you can do it. And this is one thing. It's about style, about articulation, about playing different styles of music. But as I was saying, it's also this repertoire for the modern instrument.
And also repertoire for the modern instruments is, if we talk about maybe they're playing Beethoven, Chopin, and
We have Szymanowski.
Szymanowski.
also.
So it's also written for modern orchestras and large ensembles. And there's, for example, Brahms or Szymanowski concerto has such a huge orchestral texture compared even to Chopin,
Of course.
right? So as a conductor, there's a lot for you to control there and a lot to have to work with, right? In terms of the orchestra has so big sound, and the piano also.
This is so much fun when you conduct this big, let's say big concertos, because you have the sound here from the orchestra.
Yes.
You have sound from behind from the piano.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the only situation in working when we are talking about working with the soloist, because with the violin, with the cello, it's not that way. When the big piano plays really fortissimo and the orchestra plays really fortissimo, you really need to be, how to say it, well, focused. It's delicate.
Yeah, definitely. Is it ever overwhelming for your ears?
No,
Really?
it's not painful, but you you feel that you are between two huge sounds. It's something great, and this big symphonic music with piano solo is really exciting.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before that in the finals we have 5 different concertos. In the semifinals, we had Mozart concertos only, and some of them overlapped. But one concerto that was totally unique was the F major Mozart concerto, played by also a Polish competitor Mateusz Krzyżowski. I was wondering if we could have that fragment now to listen to his performance of the F major Mozart concerto. So, as we were talking during the performance, there was something you mentioned about the way concertos are designed and the number of instruments used and the balance between the piano and the whole orchestra?
Particularly in Mozart concerti. Yes, we are talking about the old instruments and the new instruments, and sometimes we feel and hear that there are some, especially in Beethoven's music, that we need to work a little bit or try more to play louder, to let the soloist be audible as the solo part. If you play it on old instruments, there won't be any problems, even if you take the old piano.
Right.
We need to remember that this music was written for different instruments in different times and
different halls too, different sizes of room too. And in the final, Krzyżowski is playing Szymanowski. Can you tell us about that piece? Not every listener already knows it, like we know Tchaikovsky's
This is
concerto.
very original choice. And you mentioned that he played F major Mozart as the only one, and now he plays Szymanowski Symphony No. 4. It's Symphony Concertante, which means that it's not piano concerto. Well, practically it is. But if you look inside, the piano in this kind of genre, Symphony Concertante, is our partner more than in the solo piano. He becomes the member of the big ensemble. And this is all about orchestra. Has a lot of playing in this Fourth Symphony of Szymanowski, and this requires from the pianist extreme musicality, flexibility, the sense of chamber music, the ability of playing and cooperating with the musicians, and he really needs to know where he's the soloist. And where he's just one of us, because over there is the solo instrument, or even 3 or 4 solo instruments playing an ensemble, and he suddenly he is actually the member of the small ensemble, like in the beginning of the second movement. He plays with flute, with viola, with clarinet, and so on.
So soloist really has to understand in this Szymanowski piece the instrumentation of different sections, because there's some chamber music with small groups, even within the orchestra. So it's not always whole orchestra and whole piano and piano.
But even when the situation is opposite, and the whole orchestra plays, he also has to cooperate, because the orchestra is so huge in this piece of music that you can't just play freely. You need to know that in some phrases you are very chamber musician.
Right.
In others you are a member of the orchestra. So this is beautiful piece. And you can show a lot as the pianist.
Have you conducted it before?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And do you love conducting it in general?
Yes, this is quite difficult. And nowadays, I heard from my older colleagues that there were times that this Fourth Symphony was very popular piece of music in Polish Philharmonics. And now it's not played very often, so musicians don't know it. This is not their everyday repertoire, so you always have to work a little bit, because Szymanowski music is very rich, if we say about orchestration. You can say that everyone plays something different from the colleague. This is very specific Szymanowski instrumentation, which is very beautiful. But of course, you need to know how to deal with some phrases. But this is very, very good music, and I love it.
And in Polish Philharmonics, is Szymanowski, for example, Stabat Mater or other repertoire, is it very popular?
It is. It is popular.
It's very colorful music in general.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
And I think that Szymanowski is very original.
Yes.
In those times, it wasn't very original to be so original, because you had original composers, you had Janacek, Britten, all these people were very original, but Szymanowski, he found his place not only in Polish music, but in the music of whole classical music world. And I think because of this originality, of the beauty and very specific aesthetics that is connected with Młoda Polska, the young Poland, the group of artists who
in Warsaw, he founded this group, or this became...
Młoda Polska is something wider. He found with his friends, with composers, they found...
Like a wider movement.
Yeah, but we have the literature, mainly the theater, the visual arts, and Szymanowski is part of this big artistic world. And this is absolutely beautiful, wonderful music. I love Szymanowski.
And also we have Chopin, Szymanowski, and Beethoven, 2 Beethoven concertos, yeah? The 4th and the 5th?
And Liszt.
And Liszt concerto as well. And it's interesting, the Liszt is the E-flat major, and then Beethoven 5 on the same night.
Yeah.
So both concertos
Yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
key, but very different approach to harmony.
Yes, of course.
And totally different pieces. Yeah?
Absolutely, the form is different. Beethoven, in his 5th concerto, he represents the proper classical form. Yeah, and if we speak about the concerto as a genre, this is very, very classical, not early classical, but this kind of piano concertos like Beethoven Number 5. This is the model of the concertos that were written then, yeah. And Liszt, of course, he refused to write the music in this form, yeah. The Liszt Piano Concerto Number 1 has form in, let's say, 4 movements, but the form isn't very classical, yeah.
Right.
It is very modern. Liszt was he was one of the modern composers of 19th century, not classical one. Like Brahms, he was something else. He wrote different music, and I think that only the key connects these 2 pieces.
And we also have the Beethoven 4th concerto, which starts with the piano. So when that happens, I'm always curious about this because it's a concerto I've never played. You have to discuss, of course, about tempo very carefully before, because the piano comes first and will set the tempo rather than orchestra coming first and setting the tempo.
No, it's easier.
It's easier?
Yeah, of course.
Why is it easier?
Because the solist comes, he says hello, and he starts playing his tempo, and we can hear what tempo he or she wants to play, and we just continue in this tempo. We don't need to discuss anything.
Really? So you've never played it or worked on it with a soloist, and you had a really different opinion about the tempo?
It's about approach to the accompanying. I think that as accompanying conductor, I should be supportive. And
right.
if solists play the tempo, I just accept. Of course, there are situations that you have to discuss this or that, yeah. But and of course, in 4th concerto of Beethoven, the range of tempi you can play is not very wide, yeah.
Right.
You can play a little faster, a little slower, but in general, it's one tempo.
So what, if you could define it for us, what's the best situation where you know that's a great soloist? The soloist knows how to work with the orchestra. How does it feel? What is it like? These competitors are playing these huge pieces, as you said. Sometimes it can be for the first time. What is it that you feel defines a really good piano concerto performance?
When everybody is making music and feels in the music, I always say, for my private use, when we are having great fun on stage, that's it.
Really?
Yeah. This is the most important thing. Of course, we are professionals. Yeah, we are musicians. We are educated. We know what to do, how to play the music. Yeah, we know how to do it technically. Artistically.
We come prepared so that we can have this.
We can work, we are rehearsing, we are professionals, very serious people. But at the end, we just know each other and we come together on stage, and it has to be something. And not only for the soloist and the conductor, but also for the orchestra. There are moments that we are together doing music and having fun in this music.
Even in a competition where it's so stressful?
Of course, I have to remember here that they are not, you have your soloists, yeah? I have soloists who I know for years. I performed with them many times.
Right.
And I know what to expect. They know what to expect. We know each other. So then the situation is different. Yeah, we just come on stage as as friends and experienced, and as artists experienced in playing together.
Right.
Of course, it makes the difference. But this is, for me, also the part of being professional is not only to do good job, but I believe that you, as a professional, you need to create the situation that everyone can really go for it and enjoy.
An audience feels this if on stage they witness that the chemistry is just right and everyone is able to really dig into this music and make a statement.
This is what makes music different from other arts. Even if there is a composition, finished, written, played many times, you have to perform. Yeah?
Right.
You have to perform. Of course, when we talk about philosophy and things like that, does music exist or not? You know, it's for philosophers. But if we put here on this table the score of the Beethoven concerto, it's just paper. Yeah.
Right.
As long as we don't play the music, there's no music. There's no performance. And I would say more. You can buy the CD. It will be perfect. It will be great. You will even hear the music better than in the great concert hall because it's balanced. It's prepared for equipment to just made to listen it at home, and this is great. But this is different kind of activity than listening to the live music because it's something more than compositions themselves. It's something more. It's about performing. It's about it's about situation that can happen only once. It's only now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only now. We will never. We won't be able to repeat the situations, even if we play this piece of music during the next day concert.
Right.
There are no two same performances.
And this is exciting because every night is different. Every concert feels different, yeah?
And I was thinking about it and I decided to do everything to have fun every time. You know?
Really?
I think, yes. This is so extremely great in this job. Yeah, that of course you think about lot of things. This is not easy a situation when the orchestra works, when the conductor works with the orchestra, when we are doing music in the big ensemble. There are problems that need to be solved.
Sure.
There are artistic decisions that need to be made instantly. There is pressure of time every time you work with the orchestra. And then at the end, we go on stage. There's the audience, and we did all hard work, really. Sometimes we are tired after intensive week of rehearsing. So what shall we do? We just need to play the music and be in the music and be happy to do it. Because it's the playing music is a very specific human activity. It's music is something different. Like is the big thing. Like love, like philosophy, like I don't know, religion. If you don't love somebody, or if you never did, no one can explain to you. No one can tell how it is. Of course, we can talk. Sure. Of course, we can talk about it. But for everybody, this is something different. And I think that the music is something of this kind that this is very specific. If you don't play the music, if you never played the music in your life, you don't know how it is. I became very serious now, but it's like skiing. Do you ski?
No.
Oh, so you have
I have
no
no
idea.
idea.
You have no idea. I can.
Do you?
Yes, of course. I can
Wow.
tell you for hours. I can tell you for days how great it is to go skiing. But you won't understand as long as you don't do it.
If you haven't done it,
You need to do it. Yeah, no
Yeah.
one will explain. This is the same situation is with playing music, and
Exactly.
you know how to play, how it feels to play
Yeah.
music. Yeah, so
Yes, because I remember our rehearsals with the Brahms, and there are moments of working with you that are so electric because I can tell in your gestures and in your feeling for the music how strong it is if you hit exactly on the point that you're aiming for, right? And we make a connection.
Yeah, and in the professional work, that's I was talking about the hard work during the rehearsals, but the truth is that this artistic, this musician, something has to be present on stage during every rehearsal,
Yes.
and more every minute of the rehearsal. Yeah, if the rehearsal is if there is lack of musicality, it becomes boring.
Boring, exactly.
Yeah, and tiring, and not logical. So
Yeah.
the easy things then become difficult. So you need this electricity, this something, this nicotine or whatever however you call it. You need it all the time. Otherwise, it will be just normal job. And
Yeah.
it's not.
And quick question to finish. After you finish a big concerto or a big symphony concert, are you exhausted or are you full of energy? Because the work we know is exhausting. The rehearsal process can be tiring.
But the adrenaline
adrenaline is huge, right?
Yeah, it's huge. And not only adrenaline, there are also other hormones, I believe. I'm not a specialist, but there's dopamine or something.
For sure, gives you a rush.
And joy. It's good to drive after the concert because you won't fall asleep. It's safe.
So very soon the finals begin in a few hours here in the Philharmonic. Are you excited?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited and I'm focused because I know that we need to support the finalists. I believe that they are in good hands of this experienced orchestra. We have to say that Pomeranian Philharmonic knows the piano concertos by heart. Because Bydgoszcz is the very much piano city.
Yes.
So they play very often with the solo pianists, and they are specialists for piano music. They just play it.
Yeah, it does feel like that, like a piano city. That's
Yeah.
true.
And the orchestra knows the repertoire very well, and they really know how to listen to the soloist. This is very important because a conductor can be together with the soloist, but the orchestra has to understand what does the soloist play and has to listen sometimes very carefully and very specifically, and they really know how to do it. So this is good orchestra for this kind of challenge.
And that's very special because we're always warned in our studies when we go out with concertos that the orchestra may not know the score as well as we know our part of the score. Not every orchestra is specialist in piano repertoire.
I would say that sometimes, especially young soloist, unexperienced soloist, tries, this is just my experience, but not with everyone, tries to find something new. The soloist sometimes try to show something that no one showed before. And it doesn't make sense because the idea is to play what is in the music, to cooperate with the orchestra, and from this point of start, show something that only this particular soloist can show. So something from inside. But of course, coming back to this normal things, it happens sometimes that orchestras don't know the particular concerto. Yeah, there are some of the concerti that are played every season,
Right.
and some of them are played not so often, like, for example, Szymanowski Symphony Concertante, and it was a very good decision. And this is not for the first time during this competition, and I think this is the management of the orchestra and management of the competition. They are really doing a great job, because always the most difficult and unknown piece from finale is played during the inaugural concert.
Yes.
Interesting. This is
It's
very
true.
smart, very brilliant, and this is I think how you plan to have successful concerts.
Competition, yeah.
And competition.
True, and concerts too. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to hear tonight the first few concertos. What will we be hearing tonight?
Tonight we start with Beethoven number 4,
Okay.
then Szymanowski Symphony number 4, Concertante, and second piano concerto in F minor by Frédéric Chopin.
Great. We're looking forward. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time to be here. And thank you for joining us. Tune in to Paderewski live streaming to the finals starting in a few hours. It'll be at 7 p.m. here in Bydgoszcz. And thanks for joining me at the competition studio. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
The 12th International Paderewski Piano Competition in Bydgoszcz. Live broadcast at www.paderewskicompetition.pl. The 12th International Paderewski Piano Competition in Bydgoszcz. Live broadcast at www.paderewskicompetition.pl.
Są takie chwile w życiu, które zostają w pamięci. Gdy dźwięki otaczają nas z każdej strony, muzyka przytula.
Too far gone to stay, said it anyway. Now these words forever free.
Najważniejsze, by ten czas spędzać z kimś, kogo kochamy, lubimy, szanujemy, w miejscu, które jest dla nas czymś ważnym, do którego zawsze chcemy wracać.
I hold on to you. Do you hold on to me? Try to give a little love to you, just enough to see us through. Now you're lost and broken.
dziecka. Daj się przytulić muzyce.
Możesz budować formy na siłowni i grać niesamowite solówki. Możesz oddać się pasji gotowania i miksować ścieżki. Możesz pielęgnować swoje rośliny i dyrygować chórem. Możesz uwieczniać piękne momenty i występować na wielkich scenach. W Akademii Muzycznej w Bydgoszczy stawiamy na Twoją swobodę i rozwój, dlatego dołącz do nas i poczuj, że naprawdę możesz.
Bydgoszcz, the capital and the largest city of the Kujawian Pomeranian region. It is a city of two rivers, the Vistula, the Duda, and the historic Bydgoszcz Canal. Picturesquely located between forests, it was associated with water from the very beginning. Water is one of the city's elements, and the old granaries standing by the Duda River tell about its past and the identity of its inhabitants. A remarkable object on the map of Bydgoszcz is the 18th century Bydgoszcz Canal. It contributed to a rapid development of trade and industry, and it associated its residents with the traditions of the skippers and inland navigation forever. The canal, along with the Vistula and Duda River, is a part of the international E17 waterway connecting Western Europe with the historic Chrenowicz. The revitalized Roder's Mills on the Mill Island have become a place of cultural gatherings and concerts. The Mill Island itself is a vibrant heart of the city that offers world-class entertainment, not only in opera nova, but also in a picturesque natural setting on the stage built on the Duda embankment. The city can be explored by boats or by a solar boat. From the water level, we can see even more clearly how the past connects with the present and modernity. The living museum created on the renovated Lemara barge tells about the traditions of skippers. From the marina of Bydgoszcz, we can set out in a canoe on a river journey around the city. The monuments of hydraulic engineering can be visited from the picturesque bicycle paths. And in the evening, you can rest in one of the multiple restaurants located by the Młynówka River. Come, see, feel it.
Dzień za dniem, noc za nocą. Nasze życie upływa pod bezkresnym niebem. Marzymy o rzeczach wielkich, ale życzymy sobie rzeczy prostych. Myślami wybiegamy do przodu, ale jesteśmy świadomi, że życie toczy się tu i teraz. Spoglądamy w niebo z dobrego miejsca na ziemi.
時間と手間をかけ工芸品のように作られる茂河合グランドピアノ。フラッグシップとして成長した茂河合グランドピアノは変わらぬ情熱と魂によってさらなる高みを目指します。